Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is doing well. Thanks a lot for tuning in. As always, I really appreciate it. Shout out to all the subscribers and big up to anybody new. Gratitude to you. Let's talk about this undercard, right? If you think about it, it's one of the more craziest cards I can remember, just given the moving parts, given the pull out from, well, I say pull out, he did get injured. There was a lot of people saying that Keith Thurman, intentionally pulled out. I don't believe that. There's no proof of that whatsoever. He's not done that before, but he did pull out the event, I guess, in the sense he's not fighting there. But, so Fundora comes in, obviously replaces him. Crazy, last minute thing for Tszyu to deal with. Fundora's obviously got to now deal with having to fight Tszyu. I made a video about that. Thanks a lot for tuning into that one. I'll leave the link up here for that. And shout out to all the new subscribers as well from that. But then you have ROLLY Pitbull, right, which we'll get onto in a minute, which is a good fight actually, and that's probably the one that hasn't had any moving parts. Then you have Brian Mendoza has been pulled in to fight Bochuk, who was supposed to be fighting Fundora. So Bochuk goes from the opposite really of fighting a 6'6" southpaw to, well, 6'6" aggressive combination punching aggressive southpaw to a back foot cool, tidy, nice, neat, slightly powerful boxer in Brian Mendoza. It's actually an excellent fight. Then you have Lara, who hasn't fought in what, a year and a half, something like that. He's been very inactive, fighting Michael Zarafa from Australia. So they're all world title fights, kind of. There's an interim. I don't really know where the WBC, the belt situation. If anyone can clarify that, in the comments, please be my guest, because I know the WBC, that's the unification fight for the main event, and then the interim WBC, which is for Brian Mendoza versus Bochuk, which we'll start with that. We'll get onto the ROLLY one right after, because I know people want to listen about that one, and that's something I know a little bit more about, because I've only watched Bochuk just recently with some highlight reels. I watched the Brandon Adam loss, because he lost his, first of all, he's from Ukraine, 23-1 with 23 knockouts. So look, if you think about Brian Mendoza, right, what an example of how to get the best version of you and try to take on the best, right? Look at the boogeymen in the 154-pound division, right? Jesus Ramos, who is, a problem, is rumored or suspect to be one of the boogeymen. A lot of people thought he should have beat Lubin, but, Brian Mendoza fought him, and I know he lost to him, but that's a tough fight. Then he fights Fundora, another boogeyman, kind of, and obviously we know what happened there. He knocked out Fundora. Then he fights Tszyu, all hyper-aggressive fighters, right, that come to basically put a hurting on you. Brian Mendoza's done that, and now he's back in there again with someone that's of the same ilk. This Bochuk, shout out to True School Sports. I just watched an interview with him, great channel, with Bochuk. And he was, he went into detail about how he trained with Golovkin, and, how he had a Mexican style from the amateurs, and was just all about that pressure. He puts a lot of pressure on him, and he opens up. And that's how he got stopped against Brandon Adams, who, if you don't know, he was, I remember him from the Contender, the second version of that, or the second or third series, I'm not sure. But he also lost to Jamal Charlo, I believe. But, he's caught him, like Bochuk kind of opened up a little bit. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Fundora, where when they're pressure fighters and they're coming in and they're only thinking about offense, and he got clipped with a left hook, and that started the problem. And I'll try and find the clip and I'll pull it up.
Corner you, and let's talk about this. Bochuk. Bochuk hadn't been past 6.
Counter left hand there, but
hadn't been past 6.
Counter left hand there by Adams.
Good hook. He's going for it.
Here he comes.
He's going for it.
Cannot. Oh, left hand drops Bochuk.
And then Brandon Adams finished him from there, and that was his one blemish on his record. But look, he's knocked out everybody else. So the guy can obviously punch, and he puts pressure on, more break you down, systematic power than knockout concussive, explosive power, it seems. But Brian Mendoza's got his hands full again, and I've got so much respect for that. I really do, because can you imagine if every boxer actually decided to do that and to fight everybody fought the competitor that Brian Mendoza's fighting? In terms of how this fight will go, look, as I said, I haven't watched loads of Bochuk, but Brian Mendoza, to me, he went through a little resurgence. He matched up with Ismail Salas. He moved to Vegas, and he started to get some really good wins under his belt. And then he came across Tszyu, who is a special fighter, and I think he's going to be really special. Roy Jones Jr. said that. I've been making videos about Tszyu because he proved me wrong against Tony Harrison, and I was happy for that. And that's a big part of this channel, is when I do get picks wrong and I do learn a lot about it, I want to know why, and I dig a little bit deeper to learn about the finer details about why. And I was pleasantly surprised at Tszyu, and I was like, wow, this guy's very special. And I won't be picking against him anytime soon unless he fights Bud, but that's another story and another video. But look, Brian Mendoza, I like Mendoza in this fight just from his ability to deal with these guys, right? And he in a recent interview, he just said he's getting better and better. He learned a lot from the Tszyu performance, and he expects more from himself, right? Which I love. Go back to the drawing board, and improve on yourself. And he's always willing to take the challenge. And, he does have the style to neutralize these type of fighters. And it didn't quite work against Ramos. I don't think it would have ever worked against Tszyu. I think Tszyu's just that good, as I've been saying. But like against Fundora, look, he picked his moment. And he could pick his moment against Bochuk, because, as I said, they're the same. They have the similar kind of mentality when they're letting their hands go, is to forget about defense. And Brian Mendoza, as you saw, cleaned out Fundora with just a beautiful left hook, and he just got the perfect timing on it, right? He just feinted with that, and boom, he just whipped that shot in and caught him bang on the chin. I can see him doing that again. It was a left hook that caught Bochuk against Brandon Adams. Bochuk did speak about that, and he's a different fighter now, and he's on the rehabilitation. He's been winning again. I think he's had 4 or 5 wins on the bounce. And look, he looks like a Ukrainian mercenary. He looks tough as nails, bro. So the guy can fight. They can both fight. I think this might be one of the best fights on the card. I'm going to pick Brian Mendoza from his experience, from his ability, from his movement, from his lateral movement, and hopefully he can get some good combinations off. Moving on to ROLLY versus Pitbull CRUZ. A lot of people are very excited about this fight, including me. It does have the ingredients for quite a brawl, and watching that gloves off episode, it made me really kind of chuckle when Pitbull's coach, I forget his name, but he used the word panic, right? Because, and I'm making a video about pressure fighters. I'll have it up probably by the middle of next week. But it's about the mentality, the philosophy, the psychology, the mental fortitude you have to get yourself in to be a pressure fighter. Obviously it's in their DNA, but then the training camps that they have to go through, and I don't know if anybody else watched that, but you saw Pitbull. He's up at 4 in the morning with that little lamp on, running through like the dark woods or whatever. I mean, he's in a, he came from nothing. Do you know what I mean? That's raw poverty. He spoke about that in that, and it's just like, wow, man, that is just a hardcore fighter. And those people are dangerous because they don't stop trying to win, and he doesn't stop trying to be aggressive. He doesn't know how to take a backward step, And ROLLY is going to be in all types of but look, does ROLLY have enough boxing skills to keep this guy off? Probably not. Do you know what I mean? I don't think so. ROLLY was boxing a lot against Barosho until Barosho got, unfortunately, robbed out of that situation. Really, that was just a raw form of corruption happening, in my opinion, allegedly. But it was sad to see that happen so blatantly. But at the end of the day, ROLLY was using a lot of lateral movement. He doesn't really know how to use his jab properly. He's still got some footwork issues, but he does have that awkward raw power, and he does have something that you've got to keep these guys off of you with, and that is power. Obviously Tank couldn't really keep CRUZ off him, but Tank could finesse him. So that was a great performance from both guys, actually. I know Tank only had one hand in that fight, but like Pitbull, really came out that fight, and I think he's gonna do the same against ROLLY. He's gonna come and he's got that really crazy, beautiful, swinging lead hook.
I mean, he threw it from way back up. Boy, that was a beauty. A little roundhouse hook getting in, and I mean, that was a terrific.
I feel good.
I was gonna say that. Amazing.
Oh, there's a left hand, and again.
Which, you know, he doesn't stop throwing, and he throws with bad intentions. And I think, you know, one of those is definitely going to get through, and I think it could put ROLLY in all sorts of problems. I can see Pitbull CRUZ stopping ROLLY, to be honest with you. Look, ROLLY, the thing is, when you're fighting somebody like that, you have to be a boxer. You have to finesse fighters like that to cool them down. You need a good jab. Usually you need a decent clinch game. You do need to have some IQ. You need to, you know, just finagle your way through the dangerous parts of the fight. It's gonna get a point in the fight where you have to fight Pitbull, and because ROLLY's boxing skills aren't that pure, he's going to get dragged in a fight quicker. Because with Bochuk, right? Bochuk's what, 192 years old? What was he, 40? I don't know. He looked old as, you know, older than the woods, but so he was going a lot slower, right? To put that pressure on. And ROLLY was allowed to move around and use this kind of awkward lateral movement, which was working to a degree. But Pitbull's he's not gonna be as slow. He's very tenacious. He's gonna be on him. You know, he's gonna be a ferocious Pitbull, just winging violent shots on him. And I think he's going to get ROLLY out of there probably by the mid to late rounds, to be honest with you. A lot of people are really writing ROLLY off completely. I quite like ROLLY. He's a good character, do you know. There's a good soul in there somewhere. But look, he's worked really hard. He's got himself in great shape. He's tremendously strong, and I think he's good for the sport. You know, I do mean that, because it's like a good character. Whether you agree he should be a champion or not, or whether he's getting the fights he should deserve, at the end of the day, it's about entertainment, and he provides a kind of a WWE type angle. You know what I mean? But he can fight. He can fight a little bit. You got to take your hat off to him. He gets himself in shape. And he's with Ismail Salas. I don't know if they were together before, but, you know, obviously he's going to need to drill some boxing skills into him to keep that Pitbull off him. But I see a late stoppage from Pitbull. I think that right hook, the left hook, excuse me, that lead left hook is probably his best punch. And I think he's going to catch ROLLY at some point, because ROLLY does try to do the shoulder roll. He doesn't really know how to really use it efficiently. His legs, like I said, are a bit cumbersome. And you need to really finesse a wild dog like that, you know, with some sharper skills, tidier footwork, cleverer moves up here, quickness in your mind. But those are my opinions. Let me know your thoughts down below, guys. If you have anything else to add, I'd love to hear from you. And then let's finish this with a strange fight. Lara, the WBA middleweight champion, taking on Michael Zarafa. Like I said, Lara hasn't fought for a long time. I don't know how old is he now, 40. Last time he fought was against Spike O'Sullivan, who's, you know, a domestic level fighter in the UK, or he's Irish, but, you know, he's domestic level really. So that was a big step up for Sullivan, and he got knocked out. And Lara, since the Hurd loss, you know, he's had light touches. I can't remember where he won the WBA title from. The middleweight division right now is in all sorts of bother. But I saw Lara, this is about a year ago. I saw him on the pads with Ismail Salas, and to be honest with you, it wasn't looking too good. But there is a massive context with this, because A, it was a year ago, B, he might have just come off, and you never know where the footage is from. But, you know, I think at the end of the day, there comes a time when your skills aren't quite good enough to keep somebody off you. And I know Zarafa's quite aggressive. I don't know what they're feeding the people in Australia, because there's some tough men down there. My God, Zarafa's pretty tough as well. I just watched some highlights of that Jeff Horn fight. I mean, there was blood everywhere. That was like a scene from The Gladiator. There's blood everywhere.
Horn gets a reprieve as the doctor goes to look at the cuts, and he's holding one as well, and he steps out and throws a bomb. This horrendous 9th round, and it is.
But he's a tough guy. I remember when Kell Brook beat him. He's game, and if Zarafa puts the heat on and keeps the pressure up, that's the thing with fighters like this. When they get to that age, you can't let off. You got to keep going, even if you're getting your head boxed off. And I expect Lara to probably be clean and have a lot of cleaner work earlier on. But then later on, if that works, if he's being made to work and made to fight a little bit more than he wants to, then I can see Zarafa catching up with Lara and maybe winning on points, because Lara knows how to, you know, he knows how to, well, win. He knows how to survive too, because against the biggest, his losses, or his loss against Jared Hurd, his biggest time he was in trouble was against Angulo. I don't know if you remember that. I'll pull some clips up. He was in all sorts of trouble in that fight.
It's almost a double left hook because he landed to the body, and that helped set up that left hook that set Lara down.
And got caught while he's throwing that left-hand uppercut. It was working so well for him. And props to Angulo for making the adjustment.
1-2. Oh, and the left hook drops Lara for the second time in the fight.
And those are pressure fighters that do that to you. So, you know, typically fighters like that don't like the pressure. And when you get older and you get a little bit slower, you know, how are you going to keep guys like Zarafa off of you? So that will be interesting for me. I think it's a good card all around. You know, it's entertaining. It's got some buzz behind it. There's still some boxing fans that are really disgruntled. I think they're just people in life that will be disgruntled about anything. I'm quite happy about it. I've got no issues with it. I'm a very optimistic person. Anyway, that's it from me. I hope you guys have a great week. What is it now? Wednesday? There's still a bit left in it. And then we'll catch up on, I'll probably make 1 or 2 more videos this week. I know there's a card tomorrow. There's so much boxing on right now. I can't keep up. There's so much going on. I've got a ton of videos coming. And yeah, I will do the post-fight video for the Tszyu, for the whole card, probably on Sunday. Obviously, I say probably. I don't know if I'll do separate videos for the other fights, but I've got a lot of content coming, and then from then on, I've got even more content coming. So if you are new, thank you very much. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and if you're thinking about subscribing, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it. Take care, man. Peace and love.
Boxing. Boxing.
On it.